the New York State Athletic Commission. I remind you both now, respect each other, obey my commands, and let's keep it strictly professional. Good luck to you both. Buena suerte. Final
instructions there from referee Ron Lipton, and we have kind of contrasting styles here, really. Jason Sosa is a blue-collar fighter. He's a tough fighter, a rugged fighter, a very hard-working boxer, and a talented one, too. We saw him against Stephen Smith, of course, in defense of his WBA regular title, a title that he doesn't hold anymore. He gave that up to challenge Terence Crawford for the WBO. In Gamboa, really, we have a slick, smooth kind of aristocrat of the boxing ring, really. Such a good amateur under that Cuban system, an Olympic gold medalist, a unified champion in the featherweight division, but still the feeling persists, Jamie, that he hasn't done as much as a professional as he might have done.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe his lifestyle has let him down. It probably the major part of his career, or the part where he could have took it to the next level. And you know, he's still a terrific talent, and he's achieved some great success, but certainly the opinion is there that he could have achieved more.
And if he wants back into the top table, Gamboa, then he's got to win this fight tonight. The defeat against Castellanos was damaging. He retired after 7 rounds. His last fight was in August in Cancun, Mexico. Squeezed past Alexis Reyes by majority decision over 10 rounds. Sosa, meanwhile, took on Vasyl Lomachenko in April for the WBO title, and it was a huge ask for him. And he showed a lot of heart, a lot of bottle, winning a couple of rounds with a couple of judges before he was pulled out after 9. Gamboa just going for a little walk, just holding out that left leg, and then looking to try and stick that right hand around the back of the guard there of Sosa. Sosa just inching forward with that front foot, looking for the right hand to the body. Landed pretty much flush on the belt. Gamboa just pivoting around that front foot, looking for that 1-2.
Very good.
He's looked for that right hand quite a bit already. Thrown in from wide, nice combination there from Gamboa.
You can just see Andy Gamboa's got such nice ring craft. You know, he manoeuvres around the ring well, and you can see Sosa just trying to cut the ring off on him. But even at 30, 35 years old, he's still got terrific hand speed and judgment at distance.
Clash there as Sosa was just trying to back Gamboa up to the ropes, and then a right hand that landed pretty much on the hip. It was quite a quiet opening round, but I think you just shaded it for Gamboa, Jamie.
Yeah, there wasn't much action going on, but Gamboa landed a nice couple of sharp right hands over the top and just nicked it for me.
Sosa just looking to try and lead with that left hook. Overhand right there from Sosa fell short, but Gamboa just wasn't quite in a position to do anything about it. He's flitted around the weights, Yuriorkis Gamboa. Started off at super featherweight, came down to featherweight, and went back up again, ended up going up to lightweight. And now back down at super feather. The success so far, his greatest success has come at featherweight, but as you say, Jamie's 35 years old now. Left hand there from Sosa. Again, just landed pretty much on the belt, and that's the kind of distance that Sosa really needs to be at. He's got to try and close Gamboa down and make him fight the kind of fight that he doesn't really want to.
Yeah, he's definitely getting closer in this round. He landed a right hand and a little short left hook as well, which seemed to have a little bit of a reaction about a minute ago. And you know, he seems to be slowly creeping forward and getting that distance better, Sosa. But Gamboa was still sharp and dangerous. You know, he likes to drop those counter shots in as you move into distance, and Sosa's got to be careful.
Stop! Watch the heads.
Well, he wants back in at world level, Sosa. He wants another world title fight. He's not particularly bothered who it comes against, which one of the governing bodies. There's a lot going on at super featherweight at the moment. Of course, Lomachenko and Rigondeaux go at it on December the 9th. There are plenty of super featherweight fights that night. Salido up against Roman, Stephen Smith up against Francisco Vargas. Those two live on Sky, as is Tevin Farmer against Kenichi Ogawa for the vacant IBF title. So she's just having a little bit of success to the body.
Don't push, punch.
Yeah, he's having a bit more success, and he's getting his feet closer now. And even though Gamboa is evading some of the shots, he's using up a lot of energy just getting away in the first place. So the first instance, and Sosa's landing a few nice left hooks downstairs as well, which will take the gas out of the tank.
And again, just always inching forward with that front foot, looking to try and put Gamboa under a touch of pressure with that tight, high guard, and then just bangs to the body with a left hand there as well. And the opening stages here for Sosa going pretty well. Good right hand to finish it around with as well. Gamboa right at the end of that second round, and his legs just stiffened ever so slightly as that landed, Jamie.
Yeah, it certainly did. And you know, I don't think Sosa will be in as much of a rush now. You know, he was starting to overreach and lean in the first round, but he got his distance better the second round. And you know, if he keeps this momentum coming forward, he should start to get more success.
The theatre at Madison Square Garden, this famous building in its most recent incarnation, has seen so many historic nights down the years, so many terrific practitioners. No knockdown there called by our referee, Ron Lipton.
I disagree there. I think that was a knockdown, even though it looked at an awkward angle. A body shot landed, and if the body shot didn't land, then yeah, Gamboa wouldn't have gone on the floor. So that's a missed knockdown there from the referee in my book.
It's always a contentious one, that, isn't it? Because, as you say, if a punch is landed first and that causes some kind of movement and you then trip over a leg, then really it should be called a knockdown, because it was the punch that started it all off. You had one last week with Carl Frampton that was called as a knockdown. Frampton didn't like it, but he did say after the fight that he could understand why it was given.
Exactly, and you know, the rules state that if a punch is landed and it causes you to go on the floor, he's classed as a knockdown. And in the same case as last week with Carl, and the same case there with Gamboa, is the same instance. You know, a punch landed and he ended up on the floor, which is a legitimate knockdown.
Well, this warming up into an interesting fight. Gamboa was looking to sink in that left hand to the body, and he seems willing to be drawn into the kind of fight here that maybe is going to suit Sosa a little bit more. Right hand there from Gamboa, and you just saw him fall in behind it a touch, which is a rarity for Cuban fighters.
Sosa's getting some nice success downstairs again this round. He's leading that left hook to the body, and it seems to be landing with regularity now. So Gamboa's got to keep mobile, keep those feet moving, because every time he holds his feet, he gets caught.
Right hand there from Gamboa, a swing and a miss, and then just lost his balance and ended up with the gloves on the floor. They'll be wiped off again. There's that left hand to the body there from Sosa. He's looked for that a few times. He's landed it a few times as well, just dipping away to his left-hand side. He's getting decent kind of purchase and rotation on it. Right to the body there from Gamboa was a decent shot, though, as Sosa just suggests to the referee that he's cut one round the back of the head, and there's that left to the body, but a neat combination from Gamboa just to finish off the round. Well, that was the swing and a miss with the right hand, and he touched down with the two gloves, and he's looked a little bit clumsy at times, Gamboa, in this fight. He hasn't had a full camp for it, hasn't had an enormous amount of notice, but he's not looking like the kind of polished, slick operator we saw, well, a little while ago now, to be perfectly honest. The activity levels for Gamboa tailed off dramatically after a certain point in his career. His first 4 years as a pro, he had 20 fights. In the 6.5 since then, he's had just 9. He's picked up interim titles in that period, but no full world titles.
He just keeps showing glimpses of class and, you know, natural ability, Gamboa. But then in the previous round, there was patches in that round where he looked like he was dishevelled and he was sort of erratic, and he sort of keeps going in and out, and he keeps losing his composure a little bit. But, you know, if once he's in control from the outside, he looks a class act.
Well, there's no doubting that pedigree, is there? We outlined it earlier on. He was a very successful amateur. Not that there's really any such thing in that Cuban system. They're taught to box, they're bred to box pretty much as soon as they can walk. And if you show some real ability and you go into that hard, tough school, and you're working at it, you're thinking about it, you're breathing it, eating it, sleeping it every single day of your life. He's only had the 2 defeats. One was against Terence Crawford, and the other, as mentioned, was against Robinson Castellanos.
Break! Step back!
But time catches up with everybody, and the inactivity that we mentioned a few seconds ago as well, obviously, is never going to do you too many favours. Sosa, on the other hand, is a very busy kind of a fighter.
I think it shows how high regard people hold Gamboa in. You know, he's only lost to Terence Crawford, and obviously 2 fights ago he lost a fight which was pretty low-key. But, you know, I think people have expected a lot more of him, and his ability-wise, I believe he was definitely capable of doing more than he has done. But as mentioned earlier, I think his lifestyle in between fights has let him down.
Well, it can sometimes be the case. It's something that the man who's top of the bill tonight, Sergey Kovalev, has spoken about recently too. He's admitted that away from the ring, between fights, and he's not necessarily lived a life the way that he should have done. And this is the opening fight tonight. Jason Sosa against Yuriorkis Gamboa. Kovalev to come later on against Shabransky, Sullivan Pereira, Felix Valera also. There's just so much going on. Super featherweight, and also at light heavyweight. We'll have plenty of time to discuss it all later on. Gamboa training these days in Las Vegas at Clarence Bones Adams gym. The main man in the corner, Pedro Roque-Atano. And it's interesting with these Cubans, Jamie. I've said this before about the likes of Erislandy Lara, Guillermo Rigondeaux. You just get the feeling sometimes that maybe they don't even really need a trainer. That maybe they're not really the greatest at listening to what they're being told between rounds. A lot of nodding goes on, but I'm not sure how much attention is really paid at times.
You know, I don't think that's just the case with Cubans. I think some fighters are that naturally talented and gifted. They're sort of ahead of the game in that sense, and maybe they're led to believe that they know best, you know, coming through as kids, and it leads him into bad habits, because there's some fighters who you can just see, you know, your Floyd Mayweathers of the world are the fighters with such naturally gifted ability but work the hardest as well. And there's so many fighters what you see over the years who are so naturally gifted but are just not willing to put the work in.
Hold it. Stop, grab it. Let's go.
Gamboa just looking to try and stick with that right hand, and then moves onto the shoulder of Jason Sosa. Gamboa able there just to slip to the right-hand side as Sosa came in with his own right hand. Spent a bit of time back in Puerto Rico, Sosa, after the Lomachenko defeat, opened up a sports bar. As I say, his intention is to become a world champion at 130 pounds. And it's a division with so many good fighters. Both our weight divisions tonight are very similar in that regard. It's the same story at 175 pounds as well. Sosa actually trained by Raul Ribas, who also trains Tevin Farmer, who, as I mentioned, fights for that vacant IBF title on Sky on December the 9th. Those two spar regularly. I wouldn't have thought they would be looking to fight each other necessarily, but he'll happily get in with Alberto Mercado, the WBA champ, or Miguel Burchell, who's got the WBC title. I don't think he'll be queuing up to get back in with Lomachenko anytime soon, but he won't be the only one of that inclination.
Break. Step back clean. Yeah. Good. Box.
Sosa just made to miss with the left hand.
Yeah, the pace has just slowed slightly in this round, and he's giving Gamboa the opportunity to just box at his own pace, sit on the outside, you know, with him not having a full training camp. I wouldn't imagine his fitness is to the standard it needs to be for the fight of this magnitude. So at this moment in time, that was just suiting Gamboa.
There's a nice little uppercut on the inside there from Sosa right at the end of the round. At the midway point in this one, through 5 rounds of 10 scheduled. And it's pretty much in the balance at the minute. We mentioned that he hasn't had a full camp here, Gamboa, and maybe that will play a part as we head down the stretch. Had some more success in that round, Gamboa. He is quite basic, Sosa. He's nice and compact, isn't he? Basics may be a little bit insulting, given the kind of ability he has, but given the ability that Gamboa has, there are definite opportunities there for Gamboa to pick him off.
There is, but I think, you know, Sosa is being made to look a little bit basic and pedestrian sometimes by Gamboa because of how sharp Gamboa is. You know, I don't think it's as much to do with Sosa being basic. It's just that he's struggling to catch up with Gamboa, and as I mentioned earlier on, when Gamboa holds his feet and tries to load up, that gives Sosa the opportunity to get the shots off. When he stays mobile and gives that little half a step back and allows Sosa to walk into the shots, he makes the fight easy for himself.
3 rounds to 2 in favour of Sosa on Jamie's scorecard so far, our very unofficial scorecard. Our 3 judges down at ringside: John McKay, Robin Taylor, Don Trella. 2 from New York, 1 from Connecticut. And Sosa looking for that left hand, just walking forward and then just wading in with that left hand a bit, and Gamboa found it easy enough just to slip underneath it. Won that Olympic medal at the Games in Athens in 2004, for bronze at the World Championships, then defected alongside Odlanier Solis and Jan Barthelemy in 2006. From Venezuela to Colombia to Germany, where they signed with Ahmed Ona, stayed there for a bit as they applied for visas for the USA and then eventually made the trip over. It's a very long, hard, pretty traumatic thing to have to do. You leave your family behind. It's an enormous sacrifice. Sosa stooping in, looking for that right hand again. And catches Gamboa with a nice left there.
Yeah, that was a nice counter left hook on the front foot. And you know, again, it was at a point in the fight, in the round, where Gamboa decided to hold his feet and sort of, in fact, he was coming forward and walked himself into trouble. And I just think that he can make this fight easy for himself. You know, if he sticks to his boxing, doesn't load up, just keeps that little bit of distance in between himself and Sosa, it'd make it much easier for himself.
Just trying to slip his way onto the inside there, Sosa, and then just slung that left hand up from the waist.
Yeah, that was a nice left hook coming forward. And you know, if I was in Sosa's corner, I'd be telling him to apply a little bit more pressure. Maybe, you know, take a few risks on the front foot, hands tight, walk him down and make Gamboa work, because, you know, as we mentioned earlier, he hasn't had a full training camp, so he can't have the greatest of fitnesses.
Well, Gamboa taking a seat between rounds. LC Colon, as he's known, doesn't seem to be blowing in there. There seems to be a reasonable amount in the tank still.
When you hear it, the jab works. When you stay in the middle, you just want to walk down without more head movement. There's no jab behind it. You understand that?
That's Raul Rivas, who I mentioned earlier on, in the corner there with Sosa.
Like that. You understand that? It's a very good fight. At the end of the day, it's a close fight as well. You understand that? So we got to separate. When I tell you 20 seconds, that means we win those 20 seconds. There.
Well, just impressing on their man there that this is a tight fight. It's a close fight, and they know what's at stake here. Both of these two do. This is not any kind of official eliminator. It's a 10-rounder. I think the fight between Sosa and Castellanos, if that had come off, that could have been, because they're ranked at 11 and 12, so that would be worthy of eliminator status. And he's touched down there, Gamboa. The left hand seemed to land, and the count is taken up by the referee, and I think it's absolutely right that it is. He seemed to protest there briefly, Gamboa, but he was caught.
Yeah, certainly was, and that's a pivotal moment in this fight so far for me, because I've got it pretty level up until this point, but that was a terrific left hook on the, coming right on the back of a right hand as well, and you could see it was a delayed reaction by Gamboa, and Sosa needs to apply the pressure now.
Just pouring out of that jab a little bit there, Gamboa trying to jab to the body, Sosa looking to get in close. And as you were saying earlier, Jamie, every now and again we just see a glimpse of a fighter of old here. You see some nice hand speed, some decent reflexes, but
Telling you to stop holding. You understand?
it's almost as if that muscle memory is just broken down slightly, and he's not really able to put it together for more than just short bursts.
Break.
Uppercut from Sosa there, just snuck through. He's landed that a couple of times.
Stop punching.
Yeah, Gamboa's getting a little bit ragged now, and as we keep mentioning, when you've not had the luxury of having a full training camp for a fight, those are the little demons that can come back and haunt you around about this stage of a fight.
Let him go.
Right hand landed from Sosa, and every now and again here, Gamboa is looking to get in close and just get hold of Jason Sosa. The referee, Ron Lipton, saying to him there, let him go. He's just trying to let his hands go himself and then seek a little bit of refuge, a bit of respite, but Sosa not allowing him to do so there.
Yeah, there's that nice body work on the inside there as well, and he keeps whipping that left uppercut to the pit of the stomach, and it's a great shot, and those are the ones that take the win on the stretch.
short left hand on the inside there from Sosa as well. He's just making enough room for these. When Gamboa looks to try and move onto his shoulder and get hold of him, he's able just to maneuver his way back and create just enough space to find some leverage.
There's that body work again on the inside. It's been a good round for Sosa, this, and just at the right time as well, when the fight was going to go one way or the other.
Bit of a spring in the step there of Jason Sosa as he walks back to the corner.
Stop throwing water like that. Stop it.
Well, the referee just telling Gamboa in between rounds there to stop with the holding.
Okay? Lo que tenemos nosotros que ganar la pelea, cuidar la pelea. Oíste, los brazos arriba, molesta con la mano adelante, no pierdes tu táctica. Si tú estás ganando todos los rounds porque estás con esta mano, estás con esta y estás con esta después la derecha.
Well, it's pretty animated in the corner. I'm not going to pretend that I can translate that for you and tell you exactly what's going on, but I'm struggling to see how Gamboa is going to grab hold of this fight from here, to be honest.
Seconds out.
Well, maybe it was just more of a loss of balance there. It looked to me like a left hand had landed, but I'm not sure it really did. And there's your scorecard, Jamie, and that did have to be scored as a 10-8 round because Sosa did dominate the round and go on to win it aside from the knockdown, so that opens up a 2-point gap for him.
Yeah, I've got to admit, during the actual round when the knockdown occurred, it looks like he'd caught him on the top of the head, and it was a legitimate knockdown, but looking in the slow motion there, he might have been hard done by.
It's funny the way he throws that right hand every now and again, Sosa. He kind of really tightens up on it and snatches with it a bit. He almost gets a little bit too close. Gamboa throwing 2 or 3 shots there, and then again just looking to lean on. Sosa just pulling back and trying to rip that uppercut up the middle. That would have been a problem for Gamboa if that had landed. Good jab that from Gamboa, a kind of up jab just flung up from the waist, and his feet seem to have started to move a little bit better in this 8th round so far. Just a nice left hand on the inside there from Sosa, though he missed with the right hand and it left him in a good position to throw the left, and Gamboa was right there for it.
Stop punching, break clean.
Yeah, loads up big with the left hook there as well. Keeps falling short with his right hand. He keeps leading with the right hand and falling short with it. I think he could do with setting up with a jab either to the head or the body just to give Gamboa something. Oh, there it was. The right hand right off the back of the jab, just as I say it. And he definitely needs to make Gamboa think about something before he lets that right hand go, because he's never going to land on target with it if he leads off with it.
Nice 1-2 there from Gamboa, and he's picked some nice punches in this round, and it's almost as if he's decided that he's going to sharpen up his work since the start of this round. And as you say, for Sosa, if you do just lead off with that right hand or come steaming in behind a lead left hook against a fighter like Gamboa, maybe not so much anymore, but certainly a few years ago, that would have been suicide. Just walking forward, throwing punches like that would have just left you wide open to be picked off. He's not quite the same operator now. That is clear. We know that, but it can still be a very dangerous game to play.
Yeah, definitely. And we know how good Sosa is. You know, going off the Stephen Smith performance last year. You know, I really rated him. I thought he put in a great night's performance that night, and for Gamboa to still be performing at this level at this age is a testament to him.
So 2 to go, they're scheduled for 10, super featherweight. And this is still pretty tight, you would say. That knockdown, that 10-8 round won't have done Yuriorkis Gamboa any favours.
You understand that? That's not smart boxing. You understand that? Stay sharp with the jab. Even if it's a simple jab. You When you move your head, you're confusing the shit out of him. But you're not doing nothing with it. So whose benefit? He is. Because he's getting away with fucking murder. Be smart.
Well, apologise for some of the language in the corner there, but you can't afford to mince his words here. Raul Rivas has got a point to make to his man, and this is a point that always kind of fascinates me, Jamie. You're very calm in the corner. You don't say all that much, to be honest, between rounds. You give them a bit of time to settle down, 10-15 seconds to get their breath, and then maybe just 2 or 3 well-chosen remarks. There's a lot of information coming in there.
There is, and you know, if in my opinion, there's too much. But I think the best advice would be to give them some short, sharp advice just before they get off the stool, and constructive advice, you know, and not panic, basically, because I've got Sosa up on my card. You know, obviously we don't know how the judges have got it, but I've got him up by 1 round, and there's 2 left, so it's not desperate measures, but you know, I think there was a little bit too much panic in that corner for my liking, and you wouldn't want Sosa to start panicking himself and making mistakes what he doesn't really need to make.
Gamboa is definitely looking a little bit sharper, but having said that, he then just falls in again, and he's looking to get hold of Sosa here and just tie him up and maybe take a little bit of a break if he can. You just get the sense that possibly in those middle rounds, the heads just come together there, because he hasn't had the full count for this. He might have wondered how he would fare with the 10 rounds, and he was always looking to try and leave something in reserve, because certainly he was a little lacklustre in the middle rounds, and he's now looking a bit sharper.
Yeah, he keeps having these little phases where he's sharp with his punches, but then, you know, as the ref warned him the round before, he keeps holding a lot as he's doing it as we speak, so he's obviously feeling the pace and trying to nick rests where he can. So he'll have to be careful that the referee doesn't penalise him for that.
Let him go! Stop punching! Don't go there.
Well, just trapping the glove, the forearm of Sosa on the blind side of the referee when he can here. Gamboa just using all the tricks at his disposal.
This is your last warning. Stop holding.
There you go, right on cue.
You understand? I don't want to do that.
Final warning.
Stop holding. Do you understand?
You thought it was coming, Jamie, and you're absolutely right. Ron Lipton telling him that he will not tell him again. Next time a point will go.
Yeah, you could see that coming. He was just consistently holding more, and again, he's doing it here now. He's obviously feeling the pace, and you know, this is the price you pay when you don't get the luxury of having a full camp. But the sharpness is still there in his shots when he lets them go. He's just in between time. He's struggling.
Break! Break!
Sosa's looked for that uppercut, that right uppercut a few times, and he's landed it.
Ready?
Certainly on more than one occasion, but as you say, again, some of the flashier work, like that there, a 2-3 punch combination, and then a nice jab off the back of it is coming from Gamboa, and it's good-looking work too. Flush jab there, just caught Sosa as he was on his way in.
See, now this is a real difficult round to score, because Gamboa's landed the better shots, but then for the majority of the round has spoiled and held, so
Don't go to
how do you score that?
Go.
I'd probably go Gamboa myself, but I know exactly what you're saying, because it's flashy, it's eye-catching. But how you separate them, well, the 3 judges ringside will have a different view of proceedings from the angle that they sit at, but this could well be very, very tight going into the final round.
No. He's holding. I'm going to take a point.
Tú sabes que tú estás ganando. Seca el agua. Seca el agua. Tú sabes de bolseo, compadre. ¿Me oíste?
Okay, and don't fucking push it. Snap it. That's the shoulder. Snap. Stop fucking leaning with it. You're leaning with it, you can get counted.
So a bit more colourful language there from Raul Rivas. And I think he's trying to tell his man that he needs this final round.
Seconds out.
This is round 10 of the schedule.
We're heading into the 10th and final round. We've got it pretty tight as well. Touch of gloves between the two.
Last round.
At the start of this final 3 minutes, and you've got it absolutely level there, Jamie. 85 apiece. We've got that 10-8 in there as well, which we think may be slightly unfortunate for Gamboa, because it didn't really look like it was a legitimate knockdown, but there was one earlier in the fight that wasn't given that could possibly have been, but for us anyway, it comes down to this final 3 minutes.
Yeah, you know, just thinking there, Andy, you've got to give Sosa credit for taking Gamboa as an opponent at short notice. You know, it's always a tricky decision to make, accepting opponents late on when there's a change. And I know Gamboa isn't the fighter he was a few years back, but nevertheless, he was always going to be a handful, and it's proven the case tonight.
There's a good jab there from Sosa, but again, he just crowds himself as he looks to throw that right hand. Never really is able just to shoot it straight down the middle. Right hand there from Gamboa was caught on the gloves, but a good spearing jab got through and landed just as Sosa was trying to come back with a right of his own.
Break!
Gamboa doing a lot of holding again now.
He's got to be very, very careful because he's had that final warning, and a point, should it go now from him, could be absolutely fatal. And Sosa again just looking to try and work that uppercut on the inside.
Stop! Stop. Time!
Well, here we go. This could be the point. This could be the point right here, and I think it's going to be.
1 point, hold it. 1 point, hold it.
He can't really have any complaints here, Gamboa, because he's been warned. He was told that if he did it again, then the point would go, and that was pretty blatant.
It was, and you know, that's got to be the nail in the coffin there. Unless he can, you know, pull out a knockout from somewhere here, that's got to be the finisher for him there. And it's, as you say, and it's his own fault because he knew what was coming. The referee warned him, and he's paid the ultimate price.
You're not fighting on the inside. You can fight all day if you want. Break.
Well, into the final minutes. Gamboa trying to put some punches together there, but there wasn't really too much left on them by the time that they landed. Sosa with the head bowed, trying to work to the body with his left hand.
Box. Last round, gentlemen, let's go.
And the referee encouraging them to engage a little bit more here.
Break. Box.
Gamboa was really going for it here now, but I'd like to have seen do this a couple of rounds ago if he was feeling tired. You know, I'd rather the fighter try and win the fight in the right way rather than cling on and hold on. You know, empty your gas tank. You know you've come in at short notice. If you're going to run out of steam, but do it, try to win the fight.
Well, just landed a nice snappy jab there, Gamboa, as we tick into the final few seconds. Sosa looking to come forward, get in behind that jab and throw the right hand. Gamboa missing with a chopping down right of his own. There goes the bell. An embrace between the two. And we'll wait and see what the judges made of this, the 3 judges sitting ringside made of this. And final round. Jamie has gone with Jason Sosa. And of course there was the point deduction as well, which will give on our card a margin of victory of a couple of points for Jason Sosa. Gamboa showed flashes, as we were saying, throughout the course of the 10 rounds, and there is your scorecard. And Sosa has just nicked it. It was not that easy to score at times, to be honest.
I think it depends on what you prefer sometimes, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of wide cards on this one, you know, with the knockdown scored and the point deducted. But I thought Gamboa, you know, all considering, you know, late notice and stuff like that and his age and stuff, I thought he gave a good account of himself, but I think he let himself down there with the holding towards the end, and it could have been much closer.
Well, the point deduction and, of course, the knockdown that was given as well, that would have been a 10-8 round. Those 2 instances could prove to be pivotal in the fight. Sosa, as I've been saying, wants to head back towards world title level. It is a furiously competitive division, the super featherweight division. And if he gets it, there was a decent enough performance, but I'm not sure one were he to get the decision here that would leave any of the champions having any sleepless nights about him. But that could help in some ways, because they might be inclined to give him a voluntary at some stage. You just never know how things might pan out. Gamboa, well, this was a throw of the dice for him, and possibly a final throw of the dice at this kind of level.
Sosa looks very confident at the final bell here, and I was just thinking there, if that knockdown hadn't been scored and Gamboa hadn't have held like he did, I don't see him being as confident as that. You know, I think it feels like he's got that safety cushion there with the 2 points, or the 2 extra points he's got in his card, but I think other than that, it would have been very, very close.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. Robin Taylor scores this bout 94 to 94 even. John McKay has it 95-93, and Don Trolla scores it 96-92. The winner by majority decision, Yuriorkis Gamboa.
Well, Yuriorkis Gamboa has got it by majority decision, 95-93 and 96-92 with John McKay and Don Trolla, 94-94 with Robin Taylor. Well, that comes as a little bit of a surprise to us, to be honest, but Gamboa, well, the fire is still burning, the career is still alive, and could